So just before we begin, I would like everyone to sit up straight if you can. Place your feet on the ground and close your eyes while I read this prayer.
Okay.
Gracious God, as we gather here today, we invite your presence among us. Thank you for the opportunity to explore the wonders of your creation through Pastor Jeong's Summer National Park stories. May this presentation not only showcase the beauty of nature, but also remind us of the incredible journey of faith and discovery. Open our hearts to the lessons and inspiration Pastor Jeong will share, and let us see the world through your eyes, appreciating the splendor and the lessons it offers. In your holy name, we pray. Amen.
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 Terry, if you wouldn't mind, could you please introduce our special guest?
Yes, thank you, Kyle. It was a lovely prayer. Appreciate that. Good morning, everybody. I'm Terry Morrison, and welcome to our Zoom today. It is my honor and privilege to introduce our speaker, who needs no introduction, but his name happens to be Pastor Jeong Park, and he's been a cherished member at LAUMC for 6 years, and we are just so grateful to have him. He's not only devoted to our church, but he's also an admirer of nature, and especially the mountains. And this past summer, he took a renewal time for 3 months with his son, Jacob, who's 12, and Joshua, who's 9, and they explored 13 national parks and created just wonderful, wonderful memories, and explored and had so many great adventures. Pastor Jeong deeply reflects on these experiences, and he has a sense of wonder about him, and he has a great sense of humor. And we are just so thankful to have you as our guest speaker today. So again, would everybody please mute their screen? And this is being recorded, so just so you know that also. So thank you for being here, and Pastor Jeong, welcome.
Thank you, Terry, for a wonderful introduction. And thank you, Kyle, for all the technical support and prayer as well. Well, my older son, Jacob, is 12 years old, and the next week, in a week, he will turn to 13. But he still behaves like a teenager boy. And then I thank God that we were able to make it this summer trip to National Park when he was still below 13 years old. It was quite borderline that he, didn't much enjoy in the beginning, but at the end, he loved this trip as well. Good morning, everyone. Well, I finished my whole PowerPoint slide script at 2 a.m. in the morning, so I hope that everything go well as I prepare for you. I like to start with a light-hearted disclaimer first. The images in this slideshow, I prepared 52 files, may not rival the stunning quality of National Geographic's photography. If you are expecting National Geographic level photos today, you better go to their website and then find better picture there. My slide show and the sharing this morning is all about my personal journey. It's a story of transformation and experiences that go beyond the beauty of any photo. During this journey, I discovered unexpected wonder, deep meaning, and lasting memories. And this reminded me in an unusual and fitting way of my yesterday dental appointment, deep cleaning appointment. Initially, I approached with apprehension and a little bit anxiety, much like how one might feel embarking on an unknown adventure. But just as the cleaning turned out to be a surprisingly gentle and refreshing experience, and the overcoming initial fears in the national parks led to soul refreshing encounters with the nature's beauty. So in both scenarios, what began with uncertainty thankfully resulted in unexpected and rejuvenating experience. So let's dive into this adventure together. During the trip, I visited 13 national parks, starting with the Pinnacle National Park, then Mount Rainier, Olympic, Lassen, Crater Lake, and Redwood National Parks. And after a brief rest, we faced the challenges of heat wave at Joshua Tree National Park, but we continued to go on and press on in Yosemite National Park, and then we traveled to Glacier and Yellowstone National Parks in Montana, followed by Channel Island, Sequoia, and Kings Canyon National Parks. Well, we made a really cram tour to Sequoia and Kings Canyon all together in a day trip thing. But it was a long journey covering about 5,000 miles. My summertime national park story is like a miniature version of life's journey, with its highs and lows and humorous and awkward moments and valuable lessons for sure as well. For instance, I rented a car for a trip to Lassen National Park and Crater Lake National Park and Redwood National Park. It was over a week long, but I somehow forgot to retrieve my credit card and driver's license from the Sunnyvale Toyota rental shop. So I only realized this when I was already 300 miles away near Lassen National Park. This oversight caused me a week of anxiety, even as I tried to enjoy driving and camping and stargazing. Despite the underlying worry of what if, well, thankfully everything went well without any significant challenges. I want to share a quote. Julian Norwich, a 14th century mystic, profoundly said, "All shall be well." This was my another spiritual lesson that I learned. All will be well, even though there are tons of things that we could worry about. Another example, a few weeks ago, my reliable Honda Civic suddenly stopped just a few blocks from the Lego store in Santa Clara. And my wife and I were driving with Joshua to buy him Lego blocks, but the car abruptly halted, and trying to restart it only led to a few steps forward before stopping again. So we had to call AAA to tow the car, and which upset my wife. She wanted a new car immediately. And then while we were towing the car, cramped in a tow truck seat, my wife expressed her frustration, saying that this was the worst situation imaginable. But however, I reassured her that we could wait a bit longer since the problem seems minor. I just tried to comfort her. And it turned out to be a small issue, really, with the car's computer matter. So confirming my belief that it wasn't a big deal. And I had assured her that all was well in the end. Well, truly, all shall be well. Back to my story. Indeed, this summer was more than just a vacation or seasonal fun. It was a spiritual journey. I felt that God's presence everywhere I went, in the sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and touches. God revealed himself not as an abstract idea, but as a real and personal entity to me. So this experience brought to mind how Mary Magdalene, after encountering the resurrected Jesus, proclaimed to the disciples, "I have seen the Lord." Friends, during and after this journey, I became convinced that I had indeed seen God and experienced his embracing love and presence within me. And I want to tell you more story in later. I came to realize that I am part of God's creation, a small, very small, tiny particle, but yet bright spark in the vast and wondrous cosmos. And I'm an integral layer of the universe, a unique expression of the universe, and a child of God. Okay, so we kicked off our grand journey from a place in our neighborhood, Pinnacle National Park. Unfortunately, the weather was far from ideal. Fueled by a sense of adventure, we decided to hike up Pinnacles National Park. And sometimes our choices and decisions in our life turn out to be a profound lessons. And this was one such instance. The temperature was a blistering 108 Fahrenheit, and we soon regretted our decision. My wife nearly fainted during the ascent, prompting us to seek help. So our adventurous spirit also led us to hike in Joshua Tree National Park when the temperature in Palm Springs reached a sweltering 115 Fahrenheit, feeling like akin to walking on the surface of the sun. But sometimes good fortune just decides to waltz into your life, so no questions asked. Escaping the sizzling embrace of 115 Fahrenheit sunburn, we found a refuge and delight at Mountain Rainier National Park in the, is it Oregon? Is it right? Oregon? In Washington? Mountain Rainier in Seattle area. And here in the heart of summer, the weather was as cool as a cucumber, and the mountain stood majestically adorned with snow. So eager to capture this splendor, as you see this picture, I came armed with a borrowed high-end Sony camera and a heavy-duty, hefty tripod. And my wife warned against bringing these bulky items, but did I listen? Of course not. The punchline, after walking slowly to the hilltop, and I realized that I had forgotten the crucial piece that connects to the camera to the tripod. So much for my grand photography plans. In the end, my trusty phone camera had to do the job. So you will see one of the shots that I took with my phone in the photo display. It's a stunning view of Mountain Rainier, just not through the lens of the Sony camera here. And I was thrilled to take my boys in age 9, the Joshua and the 12, Jacob, and road trip to some incredible national parks. And imagine that they would be awestruck by nature's wonders and giant trees and breathtaking views and fresh air, cozy vibes. But however, I was in for a surprise. And in every photo I took, my older son, Jacob, looked as if he couldn't wait to leave, seldom smiling or showing enthusiasm. So when we reached the Hoh Rainforest, part of the Olympic National Park, and home to some of the world's the oldest plants and trees. And so I eagerly asked for their thoughts, what they think. And then Jacob's unimpressed response was, trees are just trees. And we have nice trees in our backyard. And his brother, Joshua, echoed the sentiment. And as well, this attitude persisted even at Joshua Tree National Park, where they remarked, rocks are just rocks. And at Redwood National Park, Jacob questioned, why are we looking at these trees over and over? Seeing one redwood is enough, and they all look the same. What's the point? Nevertheless, friends, I pressed on. We explored the beauty of nature, marveling at the trees and leaves and waterfalls. So here's a clip of a waterfall soothing sound from our trip. It sounds like a little audio issue there. It's good. Yeah, my hope is that one day they will look back and appreciate these experiences. And I keep this hope in my prayers and blessing for them. The next one, the difference between Lassen National Park and Crater National Park was quite remarkable, especially from the perspective of my younger son, Joshua. We stayed at a brightly lit KOA campsite, which resembled a Christmas extravaganza setting. So the nighttime brightness made a simple walk feel safe in just our neighborhood national park during the day. So while looking at the starless sky, Joshua humorously remarked, "Daddy, it seems like the stars are on vacation here." So these lights were so intense that he was convinced that the stars had taken a well-deserved break. However, when we reached Crater Lake National Park, everything changed. There, the stars were not just visible. They were like a dazzling Broadway show hosting a wonderful event that outshone even the most impressive fireworks display. So all the pictures that I took using my either cell phone or camera, Sony camera here. So many special and memorable moments marked this summer during this trip, and one in particular deeply resonated with my soul and brought me tears. This is what it is, Crater National Park. This happened unexpectedly during a visit to this park, leading me into a profound spiritual experience. At 3 a.m. when my boys were sound asleep, and I just stepped outside the lodge, and I felt as I was alone with God and gazing up at a sky sprinkled with countless stars. Despite having seen beautiful images of the universe in National Geographic magazines, but experiencing it personally was entirely different. My heart felt strangely warmed. And then somehow, I don't know why, but the Christian hymn, "Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus," the song really emerged from deep within me, especially the line, "The all things of earth will grow strangely dim." I'd like to share this beautiful music with you. So let's listen to this music. Can you hear this music?
No, I do not hear it.
Oh, Kyle, can you make it work?
You guys are saying you can't hear it?
I think when you set up at the beginning,
Uh,
you have to click the audio.
oh, I think I know what I did wrong. I apologize, everyone. I'm gonna have to stop the sharing real quick. Please forgive me. Share sound. That will help, right?
Mhm. Well, still, I have no idea what really triggered my heart and brought me to tears. But somehow that happened to my heart, and overwhelmed by tears and immersed in God's mysterious presence. And I reflected on the duality of my existence, a mix of being dust and part of the universe, and wearied, yet a glorious child of God. And I pondered why I dwell on problems instead of looking up at the stars and recognizing myself as one of those shining stars. And then I kept thinking, why was I so consumed with worry and frustration and anger sometimes, and fixated on problems and disappointments, and always looking down? And I should have had the courage to look up and to see the universe and contemplate who I am and how God views me amidst the troubles that seems to bury me. And God created me to be like one of the countless beautiful stars in the universe. This type of thoughts I really, reflected and enjoyed standing in the ground by myself on the night. And seeing myself as a shining star or a glorious being was my trip's primary goal. However, while I'm admiring stars, I reflected on the precious interactions with individuals from our Los Altos church community and the people who died this year. And then I was involved in all the memorial services and the stories and life together, and then throughout my personal life journey as well. So these people are the stars that surround and embrace me, held in the hands of the God who created everything. And wherever I go, God is with me. And all I need is to pause and look up from my circumstances and realize my cherished existence in this breath of life. So in moments of solitude and reflection, and I imagine God's love as a warm and glowing light, like the gentle flame of a candle. And love makes life worth living, and even amidst complexities and hardship. And I feel God's love in every joyful and peaceful moment and the time, and as though the entire universe was created just for me. So in such a moment, I feel God's love enveloping my fragile soul, as if God laid out these stars like a camping blanket just for me. So for me, this is really personal things. For me, experience holds far greater power than theories or explanations. And then I was so blessed and lucky to be there the moment. So my personal encounter with divine love at Crater Lake National Park has brought me inner joy and strength, and providing the stamina to manage my mind and maintain the energy needed to move forward. Additionally, the long drives or flights during the 5,000-mile journey, managing the dynamics with my two boys sitting in the back in the car, and maintaining peace and mental stability amidst all challenges were part of the adventure too. This journey was an opportunity to find calmness and peace in the midst of it all. Again, all shall be well. So we continue to witness the unique, touch of nature, the various forms of beauty in Redwood National Park, whether in the campsite or during breakfast, while tent camping, or while walking in the forest or the desert, like Joshua Tree National Park. No matter where I was able to continue to trust in God and driving to different places, and every day starting my day with gratitude and a hot coffee, even in the 108-degree heat of the morning in Joshua Tree National Park. You will see a picture right there soon. So now please enjoy some snapshots of the national parks that I captured and witnessed, including the beauty of Yosemite National Park in the next slide. This is part of the Redwood National Park in the morning. That's me. You know, 2 miles hike in I think 108 in the morning. After 10 o'clock in a.m. it turned to the temperature went up to 108, but we made it.
We're not seeing those pictures, Jeong.
To me, each national park has its own unique beauty and also different sounds and different feelings of air and everything different, but still have their own unique beauty there too. The Yosemite in the middle of July was fantastic and beautiful, as you see here. It's all taken by my iPhone and borrowed Sony high-end Sony camera too. Oh, this one, Glacier National Park. Glacier National Park and Yellowstone National Park were another high point of my summer national park story. The beauty of Glacier was more majestic and grand, with a scenery that felt larger than me and my thoughts and even my viewpoint. I felt that God is something like that. You cannot fathom it, nor can you grasp its size and grandeur. At the same time, you understand how small and humble you are, even vulnerable when comparing yourself to the grandiose beauty and mighty force of nature. So please enjoy some snapshots of this Glacier National Park.
Can you share the screen? Because the pictures aren't coming up, at least for me. I don't know if other people can see it or not.
I can see it.
See them fine.
See 'em.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I can see it fine. I don't know if it's your phone, Sue, or whatnot, but I'm on my iPad. I see it fine.
And I see
Okay,
it too, yeah.
okay.
We were lucky to go to Going to the Sun, which is 15 miles a scenic drive around the Glacier National Park. There was a big car crash in the middle of the road. So we waited for 5 hours and then the road was open again. And so we were able to make it through. So the water is so clear and then the scenery is so breathtaking too. We attempted to camp at Glacier, but we encountered a storm with thunder, lightning, and strong winds. So fortunately, a kind camper provided us with his extra tent and helped us to set it up in the dark. So he was like an angel from Iowa State. Shout out to Iowa people. I hope my boys grow up to be like him as well. Friends, one caveat is that you have to drive far more than 8 hours straight from Glacier to Yellowstone National Park. So I want to brutally honest with you, it's not easy. So during the monotonous drive, Jacob said, "Daddy, there's not much here, just a lot of nothing." And some rocks hit my car's windshield, causing the significant cracks. So I had to get a new windshield later for the rental car later. So Yellowstone National Park. Well, finally we arrived there after eight hours straight driving. Yellowstone National Park is different from any other national park to me. I'm still trying to find the right words to describe how unique it is. And first of all, Yellowstone is huge. I know that the very first national park in the United States, but this park is huge. So my experience might only show a small part of the whole thing, like a blind person touching just one part of an elephant and not knowing what the whole elephant looks like. So, for example, there are geysers here, and many people know about Old Faithful Geyser, which is really powerful. But we were amazed to see other geysers too, like Norris Geyser. So you can check out some pictures that I took. Unlike other national parks, this one really got my boys excited. They ran around like a deer in a field. You see the pictures here. This is sort of my personal reflection. When the mist rises from the geysers in Yellowstone, it reminds me of how amazing God's creation is. Just like the energy builds up under the ground until it bursts out as steam and water. The Spirit of God also works quietly in our lives before showing its power. The vast, peaceful forest here reminds us that God is always present, unwavering through the ups and downs of time. In this majestic landscape, you can feel the depth of God's creativity, the extent of God's care, and the strength of his promises, which, like the solid ground in Yellowstone, stay firm even when everything else is changing. So here's a video clip for you. I took this video clip around 8:30. A little brighter here, but actually when you were there, it's very dark. 8:30 and evening time, and then the guys are still erupting, and there was no one because it's too dark. I was able to see a beautiful sunset and these pictures and sound. It was quite phenomenal to me. Okay. So there's more pictures here. Beautiful, beautiful place, and also so we concluded our national park journey with a visit to Channel Island in Ventura, California, and a quick tour of Sequoia and Kings Canyon by car. It's a bit embarrassing to include these 3 parks in our list of 13 national parks, considering how brief our time was there. But nevertheless, it was a short yet wonderful experience, each park showcasing its unique beauty. Well, here's my conclusion of the whole story. And I had a fantastic time on my national park trip. It was an incredible experience that allowed me to open my eyes and soul, bringing me closer to something much greater than myself. And the parks displayed more colors than I could have ever imagined, and vastness beyond my comprehension. Yet I realized that I am just a small part of this vast universe, an integral part of God's majesty yet. And it was a comforting, soul enriching, and life affirming experience. Indeed, it was a spiritual journey that filled my heart with gratitude. When I got back, Sandy McConnell at the church said, I looked thinner at church, and she was right. I lost over 10 pounds on the trip. And then that was very nice bonus, but I know that it was all God's grace. And then the God's grace, I'm gaining around 10 pounds again. So maybe I have to try to stay healthy and keep my goals in mind as well. So this is my story for you this morning. Thanks so much for listening to me. I want to turn back to you.
Do any of you guys have any questions for Jeong? We'll open it up for Q&A.
Oh, Vera. Oh,
I can make I don't know if it's a question, but I have a comment.
oh, sure.
This is Karen.
Oh, Karen. Oh,
Hi, Pastor John. So
Ah.
thank you so much for sharing beautiful pictures and your experience. And it's all very relatable to me. So thank you very much. But I was just, as I was watching all of the places that you went to, I was thinking that's a lot to coordinate. So, all the reservations and directions. So good job on that as well. It's difficult in the summer to get reservations at national parks. So you did a great job of lining it all up and making a plan. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Karen. I mean, I was very lucky to make a reservation. Yosemite, I forgot the name, lodge, the white tent, like Curry Village part. And it was not easy to make a reservation, but I was very lucky. And then the Crater Lake National Park, there was only one lodge, and then inside national park, it was a very top of the mountain too. So I was very blessed to stay there and sleep there too.
Yeah.
Jeong, it seems like there's a trail, a system of trails that goes up the West Coast. Did you ever run into any of those trails on your journey?
Which trail you're talking about, John?
Well, I'm not positive that I'm saying the name the right way, but it was just a very long, maybe 1,000-mile series of hiking trails that went up the West Coast.
Pacific Crest, the Pacific.
Yeah, I think I heard about that.
Yeah, Pacific Crest. Katrina
Thank
walked
Good.
almost all of that. And I
Thank you.
think it's 2,200. Goes from Mexico to Canada.
Mhm.
I'm just curious if you ever ran across any hikers or trails like that in your travels.
Well, I mean, I'm a pastor, and just this is my first time to go around the national park. Karen Pendula, Luis here, they are quite professional hikers, but I mean, I just pick and choose. I didn't, maybe I came across, but I wasn't aware much of that trail.
Sure.
I'll jump in here. Can you hear me?
Oh, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. We tuned in late. It was technical difficulties, not on any of your it was our our side. We had technical difficulties. So I will be able to see on the recording the part that I missed. But oh my gosh, the photography, the and your beautiful comments and inner sharing, Jeong. It took us, I mean, I'm stating the obvious, but on a beautiful journey, inward and outward. The scenery is so beautiful, and then your sharing means a lot. Just really means a lot. I was particularly struck by the whole canopy of stars and your experience there.
Thank you, Anne. It was a very personal thing, but I'm glad that really echoed to you as well. Yes, Judith?
Yeah, it was like poetry, really. Some of your talk, it was beautiful. And my stepsister married a park ranger, and so they lived all over the United States. And after he retired, he went into the Methodist ministry as a local pastor. And I can't wait to get the recording and send it to him. They will really enjoy it.
Thanks, Judith. Vera, so good to see you here. I think I remember Charles Columbian service as it's somewhere. Yeah, I mean it's just been 3 years, so I'm glad you're here.
Pastor John?
Yes, Tom.
I just am wondering if you could only go back and visit, let's say, 3 of the parks. Can you? What were your top 3?
Oh,
favorites?
well, Crater Lake National Park once again, and also Glacier National Park was something very, I mean, short 2 days at Glacier, but we couldn't cover most of trails there, just going to the sun and the basic tour and then tent camping on a rainy day. So I want to go back to Glacier again. And also, I think I want to go back to Olympic National Park. It's a big place. So really, I'm feel very, I mean, ashamed to share only a small part of this. But I mean, it was worthwhile going back there again.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
For asking.
All of this.
I know, Sandy, you want to, the Glacier National Park is your bucket list, one of your bucket list, right? So hopefully you can go and enjoy it there.
I've been to most of those places.
Oh, really?
I just wonder, and I'm always, every time I get out there in those national parks, I'm just amazed at the wonder of what God has created for us. You know, it's just beautiful. I can remember singing America the Beautiful and being in the middle of Yellowstone and the one that's next to it. It was just thinking of the Purple Mountain Majesties. You know, you just really see that, and the grandeur of Glacier is just, you know, you can easily get to only a little tiny part of it, and it is so big and so huge and so impressive. But yeah, how many of us have visited a number of these places? You know, I know I have.
You want Glacier?
Yeah.
Yes. I worked at Glacier for a summer and got to do a number of the hikes in the park. And our last one was a 35-mile hike, which went from not Great Slave Lake, Waterton. We went into Canada and came down the lake there, and then started our 35-mile hike off to West Glacier. But I loved working at Glacier Park. It was wonderful, wonderful hikes. And I just want to say, John, that I really appreciate your talk. It was really wonderful. And all the pictures, and it's just lovely. And your talk describing your experiences was also wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. So after experience with Glacier National Park in Montana, I mean, driving in Montana state, I really fell in love with Montana state. So I told my wife that I want to move to Montana. I want to live there. And then my wife said, no, you go by yourself.
Some places are better to visit.
I think the mountain view is the best place to live in the world, I guess.
So it's difficult and challenging to entertain a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old on a road
Yes.
trip. But I think you will find that this trip impacts them their entire life.
Yeah.
You will see it in the years ahead. And I wonder if you've caught either boy bragging to their friends about their summits.
Yeah, I think Joshua is bragging that he visited 13 national park, and one of his friends said, oh, I visited 14 national parks. So I think they are competing each other. And Terry Bush sent me a video clip about the 3 years girl. She covered 64 national park with her parents thingy. So it was quite impressive too.
Yeah. We took our kids across the country too. We had about a 6,000-mile trip all the way back to Indiana. We would go through the national parks on the way and then came back through Glacier. And one time I said to my 8-year-old daughter, "Oh, look, Laura, isn't that wonderful?" She looked up and she said, "Oh yeah, just like TV."
Just like TV.
So don't feel bad, Jeong. This is what kids do.
Young, I just wanted to say I really appreciated your spiritual insights that you shared, because that's really meaningful. But it also made me very thankful that our country made these areas national parks, so that they're, you know, special and put aside for us.
Yeah.
Yesterday after, go ahead, Tim. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I think the joys of a family trip, I was flashing back as you shared some of those moments, and those kids will always have these memories. Great job.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim. You know, there was rain yesterday. After the rain, and I went to church to work, and then around the church entrance, I saw the mountains in Los Altos Hill, and the beautiful with mist there, and I somehow the mountain really stood out to me, and as a sort of metaphor that, oh, I had a wonderful time in national parks here and there, but this one is also beautiful. I mean, part of the national park, or I mean, the mountain there too. So when I returned from this whole trip and I was able to see our mountains in a different angle, oh, here's another extension of national park that I want to see God's presence and God's work in me and through me. It was totally different perspective seeing the mountains around here after national park experience. I did include this part in my presentation, but somehow I felt that the national park is not a certain pocket that I have to go. In a way, everywhere in the world is part of God's national park to me. So, and then I purchased the annual state park permit right after this trip done. So, and not just entertainment, but I mean, I was able to open up my eyes and see all my community and people, including nature, all the God's the place that I want to belong and work and serve and continue to live my life together with people. As such, I don't know how to describe this whole strange feelings that really I experienced here. But such a gratitude, and then the thankfulness really spoke my heart.
So Pastor,
Yeah,
this is Julie Stanley. Two things. I think this makes me think of awe and Pastor Dave's sermons on awe, because I'm with you when I see something extraordinary that is so beautiful and created naturally that we can enjoy. It is awesome. And being in Colorado, we can see Pikes Peak. We're 60, 70 miles away, and it's there every day. We can see it, and it is just amazing. And when I come back to California, I miss seeing Pikes Peak. And of course, America the Beautiful was written about that. But I want to thank you. And I also was really struck by you getting caught in the rain and by someone helping you and sharing a tent and taking the time and having just the kindness to help you and your family. And I think that's wonderful. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Julie. Yeah, I mean, again, this short-term trip to national parks was like a miniature of our life journey too. I experienced a lot of kindness and awe, and I mean, enjoying time and family things and national park beauty. So it's such a, I mean, the profound experience. Sounds like we.
I'm reminded of a video or a movie that, or a television program that we used to show the 5th and 6th graders in Sunday school. The TV series was Joan of Arcadia, and a great series, but the theme behind it was God appearing to a high school sophomore or junior as all kinds of different people. And in the first episode, God appears to this Joan as a boy her own age that she thought was pretty good looking. Anyway, she's talking to him, and he says, you know, look over there as to my handiwork. And she says, it's just a tree. And he says, see if you can make one.
That's good.
So it's the age, Jeong. It's not, not the gender or anything like that. It's the age.
Are there any other comments or questions that anybody wishes to share? Well, Pastor Jeong, thank you for a very heartfelt, wonderful, wonderful presentation, and just all your great slides and all your words, and you're just so inspirational, and we just are so blessed to have you, and we thank you, and thank everybody for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Well, it was really a precious time to prepare just all the photos and out of thousands pictures, but it was another follow-up spiritual, I mean, the moment that I enjoyed looking back on my adventure, and then found the beauty in it too. I just want to make a last comment of this. And I realized that God showed up. And I sometimes I feel that I wanted to see God's presence, but I mean, God just, I couldn't make that happen. But when I was in need, God showed up and I was able to see the presence of God. So this is another spiritual lesson that I experienced through the summertime. God keeps showing up. And sometimes we are looking down, we couldn't just see God's presence, but God showing up, and I'm fully convinced and trust that God is always waiting for us to open our eyes and to see Him. So that's another spiritual lesson that I experienced. So I hope that you also feel the same way in your daily lives as well. Again, thank you so much for having me here, and we'll continue to live our life together in this church community.
Yeah. Hi, Judith. How you doing?
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.